Hey everyone, and welcome back to GasMask 360. Made it just in time for the next video. Well guys, today is the day. Episode 6 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the season finale, potentially the series finale. There are rumors that a second season has been greenlit or is in the works. I either or, tomatoes, potatoes, you know how it goes. But we're just going to simply discuss just, this 6-part series of Obi-Wan. And my thoughts, my feelings, and everything in between. With good old Darth Vader here. He was in this a couple times. But yeah, guys, these last two episodes, episode 5 and episode 6 that just came out today, while there's still some silly stuff that happens in these episodes, they made it all worth it. They made it all worth it. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I disliked the last the first 4 episodes or anything. There was definitely stuff about them that I did enjoy. But I can admit that this series has been a little messy in places, and some more than others. Now, I will be the first to admit, actually, I'm not going to be the first to admit, many other people have already said it. I did not care for Reva's character for the most part in this series. It kind of felt like there were two different, shows, two different stories going on, and her inclusion, while I'm just kind of whatever about it towards the end, because obviously her story is still very tied to Darth Vader, and just because of that with Obi-Wan. I don't know. I mean, them hyping this show up like it's going to be a huge in-depth character study, the Joker movie, or even it being as super emotional and deep as Logan. That emotion didn't really even reach that peak until arguably this last episode, and it's only for a few brief moments. But overall, the series as a whole was not anything like those 2 movies. That said, I still had a good time with it. It's true, I said it. I had a good time with this show. There are things about it I didn't like. Again, Reva's character overall is kind of but I liked the explanations and the explorations we still got with her in these last 2 episodes. Because that's, I would imagine most people suspected that she was one of the younglings at the Jedi Temple. Otherwise, that scene would have just been super random. So that wasn't surprising. But I appreciated that it was clarified, as well with the Grand Inquisitor coming back in this show. Because I knew the Grand Inquisitor was supposed to still be alive in Rebels, which takes place 5 years after this show. So unless they had retconned that, or we're just going to be like, oh, it was a different guy, even though they look very similar, that would have been really stupid. But I still imagine for a lot of people who don't know that, so spoilers, don't worry, it'll say spoilers in the title, so you know what to expect. I imagine for people who just didn't know that and just watching the show without any knowledge, they're just like, oh, okay, I guess he's gone. Bye-bye. But I did like that. I did like them bringing him back and the way they brought him back, and him kind of explaining how not only she has survived through her ordeals, but how he survived, and kind of calling back to Darth Maul and how he survived getting cut in half. Because apparently the only person who can't survive getting stabbed in the gut with a lightsaber is unfortunately Qui-Gon Jinn. There's been a few people stabbed in the abdomen, and the gut, and the chest area quite a few times just in this show, and they come back. Granted, to be fair, usually the individuals that survive getting cut up or cut in half or stabbed are usually dark side people, because like the Grand Inquisitor says, revenge is the will to live through revenge is really strong, or like a line in Mass Effect 2 from one of your companions, Zaid. Rage is a hell of an anesthetic. So I like that. I thought, that was fun, and just kind of like an umbrella term to just kind of explain how a lot of these dark side people just keep surviving. But yeah, I overall enjoyed the show. Do I think there needs to be a season 2? Not really. No. I understand that there's still we got 10 years until A New Hope starts. So there's a lot that can happen. There was a lot in this show that I just didn't think it was overall very necessary. Definitely did not play out really the way that I had even envisioned it would when I heard it was coming out. But overall, I still enjoyed it. There's some of the humor obviously doesn't land. And just some kind of nonchalant, just kind of side characters here and there. But aside from that, I still thought we got a lot of good out of this show. Even really most of the stuff with Vader, just period, is pretty good. I know a lot of people might not have been too taken with episode 3 and the duel and the fight there, and why Vader, once we clearly just saw him be able to force put the fire out, and now that the fire is going again, he's just clearly it's he's stumped, oh, I guess Obi-Wan's gonna get away. I could totally crush that droid, I could pull Obi-Wan to me, I could do so many things right now, but I'm gonna let Obi-Wan go. I think it really comes down to Darth Vader just kind of being man, that was not the fight I expected. I really trashed Obi-Wan, and I know he's stronger than that, and I think Vader was just more disappointed, and he's just you know what? I don't really care right now. Let's see what happens. Maybe he'll give me a better fight in the future. And, lo and behold, we got a way better fight in this last episode. And that was awesome. Definitely, like, the best lightsaber duel, in the Disney era of Star Wars, I think. I thought... I mean, there was some silly stuff that happened in the fight still, but aside from just crazy force powers that you don't really see outside of, like, the video games or the comic books, which all of this stuff happens. It's just not something you see too often in live action, and when it is, sometimes it's like, it's kind of excessive. Like Vader grabbing the ship in Episode 5 and slamming it down. Like, some people think that's kind of silly. I'm just like, I thought that was awesome. I thought pulling the Star Destroyer down in the first Force Unleashed game was awesome. I don't really care if it was super excessive or not. It makes for a good scene, in my opinion. Definitely entertaining. As was this episode, where it's like, okay, here we go. We're getting the emotional punch. Obi-Wan splits Vader's helmet open once he's really bested him, and he kind of gets his own interaction with Anakin / Darth Vader, kind of similar to Ahsoka in Rebels. She gets so it's basically a callback to that interaction where they get through, they kind of break through for just like a moment to Anakin, but Vader very quickly, like, takes center stage again in Anakin's mind. But I thought it was really good, because I was really hoping for something like an interaction like that, and getting to see Obi-Wan, like, apologize to Anakin just for everything that happened, and basically chopping the rest of his limbs off and letting him burn alive. Like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry that happened. But then Vader / Anakin just try and intentionally or unintentionally kind of taking the weight off of Obi-Wan's mind. Just being like, look, I'm not like this because of you. I did this to myself, kind of thing. And, allowing for the more smoother transition of the way Obi-Wan and Darth Vader interact in A New Hope and their feelings towards each other by then. Because Obi-Wan could have killed Darth Vader here again. And he didn't. For better and for worse. He didn't. But he's like, goodbye, Darth. Like, he stops calling him Anakin once he accepts. Once he kind of gets it in his head that, yeah, I don't think I'm the one who can, like, save Anakin. Like, I think he's truly gone now. So I'm going to stop referring to him as Anakin. Not going to call him Vader. Just referring to him as Darth. Just like in A New Hope. And definitely helping with that interaction more. Just like, when last I left you, I was, still the learner and you're the master and blah, 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 blah. That whole stuff. It kind of definitely lines up better now. And just the send-off for everything was really good. We got to see Emperor Palpatine for a few seconds. So that was cool. And same with Master Qui-Gon Jinn. Obi-Wan was finally able to see and talk with Qui-Gon. And we got to see Liam Neeson, and that was awesome. I was almost thinking he was probably just going to be like a voice. We just hear his voice. But no, they got him costumed up and everything, and it was awesome. Um, so for stuff for like, and by the way, Reva doing the heel turn and kind of renouncing her dark ways. I'm like, okay, I'm not really surprised by that. I'm surprised she lived. I'm more surprised that she lived. So, very clearly, we'll probably get more stuff with her. But she renounces her evil ways once she can't bring herself to kill Luke. Obi-Wan kind of helps her through the rest of that. And, yeah, we don't see Reva anymore. She just kind of goes off on her own. You're like, okay, I guess we'll see you in something else. But overall, I think it was a great send-off, and a great bridge point to the pre-existing material. If they do a season 2, I would be very interested to see where that goes, because I would assume we wouldn't actually have Obi-Wan and Darth Vader meeting again, which was really the whole point of this show. Was really for that reunion. So I don't know, unless they did like a live action version of Obi-Wan killing Darth Maul like he did in Rebels. Granted, Obi-Wan in Rebels at that point is like the Alec Guinness, like old man Obi-Wan, so I don't know. He would definitely look different if they tried that. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan would be for season 2 overall. If we do end up getting it, I'll watch it. And hopefully it'll be good. I honestly have like almost no expectations in terms of what to expect from it, like compared to like this. So yeah, I think still overall, because a lot of there was still some messiness here. I mean, just like the prequels. So it fits right in, honestly. Definitely some weird. Yeah, okay. The one thing in terms of just this last episode with Reva, just like teleporting to Tatooine at the beginning of the episode. I did not like that. I felt like that scene, like they should have started with like the Star Destroyer chasing the ship. That would have been a better starting point. Instead of kind of just like this breakneck thing, it's like, oh shit, Reva's already on Tatooine and they're still trying to escape the Star Destroyer? Like they must have been trying to escape that Star Destroyer for quite a while if Reva's already made it off Jabin and has made it to Tatooine. We have no idea what ship she took. Anything. Like last we saw her, she was hobbling, she was still on the ground. I was like, oh shit, that Uncle Owen that I interrogated is actually hiding a Jedi kid. I'm just gonna go. And snap of the finger, beginning episode, she's there. I think that stuff should have maybe waited. They do a lot of cutting back and forth between Obi-Wan and Vader fighting, and then Reva trying to get to Luke. To be honest, I think if we had just kept the Obi-Wan and Vader stuff like a constant, like they don't cut away from it, like at the end of Revenge of the Sith, it's just one whole thing. Okay, that's not necessarily true, because I think it cut away a few times to show the Yoda versus Darth Sidious fight. But overall, like, the Mustafar fight in Revenge of the Sith was pretty much almost entirely uninterrupted. This fight was a bit more interrupted, but it wasn't too bad. I think maybe if we just done the Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader stuff first, and then we transitioned, and like, okay, Reva is now on Tatooine, and Obi-Wan is collecting himself and on his way back. And then he senses Luke is in danger. He's like, oh shit, Luke. I think they might have done a little bit better for the pacing of this episode, but other than that, like that's really the only problem I had. I thought everything else about this episode was fantastic. Definitely, I don't know if I prefer episode 5 or this. No. I changed my mind. No, this episode is definitely the best of the two. They're both really good. I'm really happy that these last 2 episodes were as good as they were. Because there was definitely some meandering and messiness and just some comedy that didn't work here and there. But granted, I still enjoyed the series. I still enjoyed those first 4 episodes. I didn't like how short the fourth episode though was, especially considering I'm like, okay, like I know each episode is kind of having its own callback to each of the movies. Like there's something in each of the 6 episodes that's like a callback to those specific like films of the 6 films. So I get that, and obviously it's like, okay, episode 4, it's like A New Hope. We're infiltrating an Imperial base, like we infiltrated the Death Star, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. I see the parallel. I did that in Fallen Order. Now, I don't hate seeing Obi-Wan do it. However, the episode is just way too short. I think most of these episodes were way too short. I think if they were at least all like an hour long, or like 50 minutes, it might have been better. And we could have fleshed out just a couple more things here and there, especially with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Like, we get it. Like, we still get it. But it's arguable and debatable that was it enough for most people. And I mean, just from what I've gathered, obviously people are split. People are always split on this shit. Like, it's not a surprise. Honestly, the only bit of Star Wars content in recent memory where I think most people were satisfied was The Mandalorian. Which brings me to say that I think The Mandalorian is still the best overall show we have gotten from these Disney Plus shows for Star Wars. And just Disney Star Wars, period. But that's because Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are just really good at what they do. And I honestly think a story like this, the Obi-Wan story, and it needing to be careful with how you portray these characters and everything. And I think it should have been handled by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Deborah Chow did a good job, but I think a story like this would have been better handled with like the best people you have. But that's just my opinion. I still enjoyed the show. Definitely ways they could have gone about it a lot better. So yeah, I think overall this was definitely better than Book of Boba Fett. I mean, again, the best episodes of the Book of Boba Fett were like towards the end of it, like the last few episodes, especially the ones where Boba Fett wasn't in it, unfortunately, where they were just kind of like Mandalorian episodes. I mean, it says something. But yeah, so Mandalorian has definitely been the best out of this group of shows. Then it's this show, and then Book of Boba Fett, as far as all those are concerned. But yeah, like we have a bunch of stuff still coming up. We got the Ahsoka show. I'm excited to see that, because we'll probably get more there's a possibility for Hayden Christensen to be in that in either flashbacks or play Vader or whatever. We'll get to see like Grand Admiral Thrawn, hopefully, and stuff like that, so that's cool. There's a lot of good potential there with the Ahsoka show, and Dave Filoni is doing that, because Ahsoka is like his creation, so I have really high hopes for that show. I know there's like an Andor show with like the Rogue One guy. I mean, it's Star Wars, so like obviously I'm interested enough to look into it. I'll definitely watch it and see what I think. There's nothing that really stood out to me about it. But I mean, hey, you know, it could be interesting. I really liked Rogue One, so there's that. But yeah, guys, those are my thoughts. I really enjoyed the show despite, you know, a lot of hiccups. But yeah, I thought it really came together and delivered with Obi-Wan and Vader there towards the end, and just overall wrapped up really well, I think, to where they don't necessarily need a season 2. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and catch you later. Peace.